friends, welcome to Kavita Medicos Education. This is part second of pulmonary tuberculosis. So here in part second we are going to study the pathophysiology of pulmonary tuberculosis, its sign and symptoms, diagnostic evaluation and treatment of pulmonary tuberculosis. So let's start with the pathophysiology of pulmonary TB. So due to etiological factor, so suppose if any active tuberculosis person speak, talk and cough, okay, this person is having TB and he is symptomatic person. So if he will cough, sneeze and talk, then the bacteria will be go into the air, okay, the air droplets of those bacteria will go into the air. If any healthy person will inhale that air, then those bacteria will come into his lungs, okay. So due to etiological factors, if any healthy person will inhale the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, then that healthy person will become infected, okay. Bacteria deposit and multiply in alveoli. So these bacteria will go to the distal region of our lungs, okay. So they will go to the distal region of our lungs at the alveolar region. Now this bacteria will go into our tracheobronchial tree, into our lungs, and they will reach to the alveoli here, okay. Now this bacteria will deposit it into alveoli and they will do multiply and replicate there. It stimulates body's immune response. When this bacteria will multiply and replicate into the alveoli, then our cell mediated immunity will generate, okay. Our innate immunity will generate here. Macrophages engulf the bacteria and destroy a few of them. Now the macrophages will go into the alveoli, okay, or the macrophages which are present in the alveoli, they will engulf the bacteria, okay. Now this macrophage will do engulfing of bacteria because this macrophage contain an enzyme known as lysosome, okay. So the lysosome chemical will destroy the bacteria when it will be engulfed by a macrophage. But this bacteria is a nasty kind of bacteria, okay. This bacteria prevent phagocytosis and process and keeps multiplying. But this bacteria prevent or stop the phagocytosis process, okay. It will stop the phagolysosome process and it will keep multiplying in our alveoli. Few of the bacteria are killed here by the macrophages. But some bacteria are very nasty that they stop phagocytosis process and they will still live here and they will still multiply and replicate in our alveoli. Now what will happen? The infected macrophages release cytokines and interleukins. Now the macrophages which are fighting with the bacteria, they will release a chemical known as cytokines and interleukins, like interleukin 1 factor, interleukin 6 and transnecrotic factor, that is known as TNF. Now this cytokines and interleukin will attract more immune cells of our body, okay, that attract other immune cells. Now our cell immunity will come there, like more of the WBC cells, more of our immune cell will come to that infected area, like macrophage, neutrophils, T cell, B cell, natural killer cell, okay. And these bacteria will be surrounded by our immune cell now, okay. So a structure is formed here. That structure is known as granuloma, okay. So in the center of this granuloma you can see the macrophages have engulfed the bacteria and few macrophages are dead here, few of the bacteria are dead here, but still some bacteria are in the life form but they will remain in a dormant or inactive phase here because they are surrounded by our immune cells like macrophage, neutrophils, T cell and B cell. So our whole immune cell will surround the bacteria, okay. They will make an entangled area around the bacteria and will prevent the bacteria from coming out, okay. So these cells form a granuloma tubercle to contain the infection. So this infection will remain into this area. Now the center of this granuloma structure is known as caseous necrosis, okay. This caseous necrosis formed by dead WBCs, dead macrophages, dead bacteria, okay. Some dead cells are also present here and whole structure surrounded by our immune cell, okay. They are surrounding the bacteria, okay, and they are preventing the bacteria from releasing out. Now what will happen? Necrotic degeneration occur. If the person immunity is poor, okay, if the person is immunocompromised, then what will happen? Slowly there will be necrotic degeneration will occur, okay. In necrotic degeneration, they will form the cavity into our lungs. So these are the cavities. Okay, so in necrotic degeneration, the cavity will be formed into our lungs, and these cavities are filled with cheese like substance. Okay, because it contains the tubercle bacilli in the dead form, macrophages, okay, dead cells. So this whole structure will form a cheese like substance, and it will slowly liquefies. It will liquefy. This cheese like substance will liquefy into our tracheobronchial tree, and if the person will cough out, then the sputum and phlegm will come out. When this granuloma structure is formed, then there are three possibilities. If the person immunity is very good, then they will kill the bacteria and the disease is completely eradicated from here. If person immunity is good, okay, they will keep the bacteria inside the lung in the form of granuloma. That is stage is known as latent stage and dormant or inactive phase of tuberculosis. But in some 5 to 10% of people, this bacteria is very nasty and the immune system is very weak. Now this granuloma will rupture out in few of the people, and if this latent tuberculosis become active tuberculosis due to immunocompromised of the person, then it will again rupture this granuloma and the whole bacteria will infiltrate into our lungs. Okay, they will go into our lungs and will infect our other areas of our body also by the help of bloodstream and lymphatic system. That TB is known as miliary kind of TB. So when this cavity will drain into our tracheobronchial tree, it will be in a liquid form, and the person will cough out that liquid in the form of sputum and bulgum. That is known as pulmonary tuberculosis. So next we have clinical manifestation of pulmonary tuberculosis. So what are the signs and symptoms in pulmonary tuberculosis patient? So in primary form of TB, there is a mild form of sign and symptoms. Okay, so patient will show flu like symptoms, like he will have mild cough, tiredness and fever. Okay, but in active form of tuberculosis, these are the signs and symptoms which can be seen in the pulmonary tuberculosis patient. And in latent and dormant tuberculosis phase, patient will have no sign and symptoms. Okay, if this latent tuberculosis progress to the active stage, then these are the symptoms of pulmonary tuberculosis. So first we have cough lasts 3 weeks or longer. So patient will have a continuous progressive cough, and this cough can be more than 3 weeks. Okay, so in the starting phase the patient will have a dry cough, and later this cough will contain mucus. So this will be a cough which will last for 3 weeks. Okay, so in the starting it will be dry, and later it will become purulent sputum cough. Next we have fever, chills and night sweat. So patient, here the patient will have a mild form of fever, and this fever can be in an intermittent form. Okay, so with fever patient will have chills and night sweat. Okay, so he will have a intermittent and mild form of fever. Next we have weight loss. So patient will lose his weight around 5 to 10 kg in a month. Okay, so here the patient is losing his weight unintentionally. Okay, he is not dieting, he is not exercising, even though the patient is losing his weight. Next we have loss of appetite. So patient will not eat anything. Okay, so he will have a anorexia condition. Anorexia means patient do not like to eat anything. So patient will have a loss of appetite condition. So next we have fatigue and tiredness. So due to disease condition and prolonged coughing process, patient will have a fatigueness condition. He will have tiredness in his body, and patient will feel very weak. Next we have dyspnea. Dyspnea means there is a difficulty in breathing because the bacteria which are present in the alveoli, they are multiplying. Okay, they are doing their inflammation. So the alveoli will not able to do proper gas exchange. Okay, so there is a low level of oxygen in his body. So patient will have a difficulty in breathing condition. Okay, he will not able to breathe properly. Next we have wheezing and hoarseness. So patient will have a harsh and hoarsening voice. Okay, why there is a hoarseness in his voice? If the TB which is present in the alveoli, okay, it get transferred to our lymph nodes through the lymphatic system. Okay, so the lymph nodes which are present in our neck, if this TB is get spread to our lymph nodes, then the nerves in the lymph gland, the nerves which are around the lymph gland, they will be pressed. Okay, So patient will have harsh and wheezing in his voice. Next we have coughing up blood and sputum. Okay, so if this pulmonary tuberculosis is not treated at proper time, then at the later in the end stage of tuberculosis, patient will have a strikes of blood in his sputum. Okay, strikes of blood in his phlegm. Next we have chest pain. So the patient will have a sharp stabbing pain in his chest due to tiredness and fatigueness of the chest muscles. Next we have malaise. So again the patient will have a malaise condition due to the prolonged chronic disease condition, chronic tuberculosis. Okay, so patient is suffering from chronic tuberculosis, so he will have a malaise condition. Next we have a hypoxia. Hypoxia means there is a low level of oxygen in his cells and tissue. Okay, so it is the end stage tuberculosis symptoms. So here the patient will have bluish discoloration and he will have a clubbing of fingers, of hands and toes. Next we have fluid around lungs. So in the later tuberculosis, the fluid will get accumulated. Okay, the fluid will get accumulated in his pleural cavity due to infection and inflammation. So the fluid will get around his pleural cavity. Next we have dysphagia. Dysphagia means there is a swelling in food. Okay, patient will feel difficulty in swelling the food. If this TB is spread to the lymph node, then the lymph node becomes swell here. So patient will feel difficulty in swelling the food. Next we have insomnia. So due to prolonged coughing process, due to fever in the night, patient will have a insomnia condition, means he will not able to sleep properly. Next we have irritability. Okay, so patient will be irritable due to chronic disease condition. Now if this pulmonary tuberculosis or active form of tuberculosis is not treated at proper time, then what will happen? This tuberculosis of our lungs will spread to our whole body. Okay, so this TB from the lungs or this bacteria from the lungs will spread to our other organs in the body through the blood stream, through the blood route or through the lymphatic route. So if this TB is not treated, then it will spread to our whole organs. So these are the some organs in which the TB can spread. So first we have lymph nodes. Okay, so if TB spread to the lymph nodes of our neck, our armpit and the groin region, then there is a swollen lymph glands. Okay, and there will be tenderness and pain in the lymph gland while examination. Okay, next we have painless. Sometimes this swelling can be in a painless form. Next, if this TB is spread to the abdomen area. Okay, so the TB which is spreading from the lungs area to our whole body, that TB is known as miliary form of TB. Okay, that TB is known as disseminated form of TB, means it is spreading to our whole body, that is miliary TB. So in abdomen we will see poor digestion. Patient will not able to digest the food properly and he will have diarrhea condition. Okay, he will pass the stool and sometimes the patient can suffer from constipation problem also. Next he will have a weight loss condition due to poor digestion and anorexia condition. So poor digestion leads to an weight loss condition. Next we have abdominal pain. So patient will have a pain in his abdominal region. Next we have ortho. Okay, TB in the bones and joints. So patient will have a bone pain. He will have a severe joint pain. So knee joint, elbow joint, he will have a pain. He will have a back pain problem. He can also suffer from arthralgia condition. Arthralgia means there will be arthralgia. There will be pain in his joint area. That condition is known as arthralgia, swelling in his joint. Next we have brain and spinal cord. So brain TB is very dangerous. If this TB is spread to our brain and spinal cord, then it will lead to meningitis condition. There is a swelling in the meninges layer. Okay, so in meningitis we will see neck stiffness, we will see confusion, we will see nausea, vomiting, unconsciousness in patient. Next we have stroke. Stroke means there is a clot in the blood. Okay, so a stroke will form in his brain. Next we have numbness. Numbness means there will be senseless feeling. Okay, there will be, he will feel numbness or he will feel senseless. Okay, there is a no tingling sensation he will feel in his feet and in his hands. Next we have paralysis condition. So patient can also suffer from paralysis condition due to the spinal tuberculosis. Next we have urogenital and reproductive organs. So In urogenital, we have edema. Edema means there is a swelling in his body. Why there is swelling? Kidney is not able to filter the blood properly. Okay, so the salt and water will retain in his body, and he will have swelling or edema condition in his body. Next, we have oliguria. Oliguria means there is a less amount of urine, less than 400 ml. If patient will pass less than 400 ml of urine in a day, that condition is known as oliguria condition. Less than 400 ml of urine. Next, we have anuria. Anuria means the urine output is very less, or there is no urine output. The condition in which the urine output is less than 100 ml. Okay, it is less than 100 ml, like it can be 50 ml, 40 ml. Okay, so this is a pathetic or worse condition of anuria. Okay, so in a day the patient is passing less amount of urine, that is less than 100 ml. Next, we have hematuria. Hemi means blood, so he will pass blood in his urine. Okay, so there is a blood in his urine. Next, we have dysuria. Dysuria means painful urination. Painful urination, so he will have difficulty in passing the urine, and he will feel pain while he will pass the urine. Infertility. So if this TB is transferred to the cervix area, then female can become infertile, and in male it can swell the scrotum region. Next, we have heart. So it can also affect our heart and can lead to endocarditis, pericarditis. Okay, so there will be sharp stabbing and pain in his chest. Next, we have a palpitation. Okay, so patient will have a irregular rhythm in his heart, due to which he will have a high and low BP problem. Okay, so he will have a palpitation, and again he will have a swelling in his body. Next, we have skin. So in skin TB, there can be rashes. Okay, there can be lumps, and ulcer can be seen in the skin tuberculosis. Okay, so if this TB is spread to our other areas of our body, that is a disseminated and miliary form of tuberculosis. So next, we have diagnostic evaluation of pulmonary tuberculosis. So what are the diagnostic procedure in the TB? So here first we have history collection. So in history we will collect all the past as well as the present history of the patient. Like in the past history, we can check the family background history of TB. Okay, and you can ask the patient about any kind of TB in the past. Okay, and the treatment was incomplete, means any kind of treatment of TB in the past which was incomplete, and you can ask for BCG vaccination. Next, here you can check the clinical presentation and sign and symptom of the patient, like is there any kind of fever, cough, hemoptysis disease condition, any kind of tiredness or fatigue in his body, and you will ask the patient about any kind of risk factor. Okay, and the occupational exposure of the patient in the past or in the present. Next, we have physical examination. Okay, so in physical examination we will check all the head to toe examination of the patient. Here we are checking the vital sign of the patient, and we will check height and weight of the patient. Especially we will auscultate the lung sound of patient, that any kind of cronky or ronky or crackling sound is coming from the lungs. Okay, next you can auscultate or check the lungs condition through palpation, through inspection procedures. Next, we have chest x-ray. So chest x-ray is a key or first diagnosis procedure in the pulmonary tuberculosis, but it is not confirmatory or confirmatory test for the TB. So in chest x-ray you can see the cavitation, lesions or fibrosis in the chest x-ray of the patient. Next, we have chest CT scan. So this is a test if chest x-ray is not well indicated, and if we are not able to find any kind of cavitation, fibrosis, lesions in the chest x-ray, then we will go for CT scan. Okay, and CT scan will also differentiate the TB from other kind of lung disease condition like pneumonia or lung cancer. So CT scan will provide a better and good quality of images than the chest x-ray. Or if the patient have gone in a complicated state of TB or a miliary kind of TB, then we will see it through the CT scan. Next, we have tuberculin skin test. So this tuberculin skin test is also known as Mantoux test or PPD. PPD is purified protein derivative. Why it is known as purified protein derivative? Because this protein is derived from the bacteria itself. Okay, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So we are collecting the protein from the bacteria itself. So what we do in Mantoux test? So 5 units of 0.1 ml PPD inject intradermally. Results are read after 48 to 72 hours. So in this Mantoux test, we are injecting the PPD in the forearm of the patient. That is, we will inject 0.1 ml or 5 units of PPD in the forearm of the patient. That is injected in the intradermal or in the superficial layer of the skin. So the results are read or checked after 48 to 72 hours. Where you have injected the PPD, there you will do a mark with the pen and you will write date and time there. So the results are checked after 2 or 3 days. So what does the result indicate? If there is swelling or there is an induration in that area or there is bumpness in the forearm, then what does this bumpness or induration indicate? So this induration will be with redness, erythema and hardness. Okay. So if there is elevation of skin greater than 5 mm or equals to 5 mm, then it will be negative in healthy individual, but this result will be positive in those individuals who are suffering from HIV patients, who are HIV patient, who have recent TB contact, who have done organ transplant or who have taken any kind of organ from outside and who are immunosuppressed like HIV, cancer, diabetic patient. So in these kinds of individuals, the test result is positive, which is greater than 5 mm or equals to 5 mm, that is millimeter. Next we have greater than 10 mm, okay, or equals to 10 mm. This condition is doubtful in healthy individual, but this condition is positive in those individual who is doing IV drug, okay, who is taking IV drug, who are abused to IV drugs, and the health workers who are working in TB industry, in the TB diagnosis or lab centers, and the immigrants, means who have traveled to endemic area where there is a high privilege rate of TB, and it will be positive in children who are less than 4 years and in the old age. Okay, so it will be positive result in these individual if the induration or bumpness is greater than 10 mm. If this bumpness or elevation or induration is greater than 15 mm, okay, then this test will be positive for those individuals, okay, who have no known risk factor. Okay, it will be positive in healthy individuals who have no known risk factors, but the result will be positive. Next we have two kind of result also. First we have positive result, that is false positive, means the patient is not suffering from TB, even the result is coming positive, but that is false positive. It will happen in the people who have taken BCG vaccination and who have inhaled the non-tuberculosis bacteria, means that is not Mycobacterium tuberculosis but some any other kind of TB bacteria, that is non-tuberculosis bacteria. Next we have negative, means in these individuals the test result is negative, but they are showing the sign and symptoms of the TB. So this is false negative result. So it will happen in recent TB infected person, okay, who have HIV AIDS, who are suffered from malnutrition, and the young or old age patients. So the test result will come negative, but those are suffering from TB. Next we have test that is known as sputum microscopy. So here we are collecting the sputum sample of the patient. Okay, so 3 sputum samples are collected here. Mainly we will collect the morning sample here. Okay, if the patient is not able to give the morning sample, then we will do bronchoscopy or bronchoalveolar lavage here. Okay, because we need a sample which is thick and which is collected from the deep inside of the lungs. So here we will stain the sputum with the Ziehl-Neelsen stain. Okay, so we will stain the sputum through the Ziehl-Neelsen stain, because this Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria contains mycolic acid cell wall which is not stained through the acid. So through the microscope we will check the bacteria here. Okay, so it is a sputum microscopy test and we will collect 3 samples here. First on the day of spot, next we will collect the samples in 2 consecutive days, and that sample should be thick. Next we have sputum culture. So here we are giving a better environment to the patient for their growth. So the culture can be in a form of solid or can be in a form of a liquid. Okay, so it's a gold standard test. So in this culture we can see the bacteria growth and we can see the red rod shaped bacteria. Okay, next you can also check the drug resistance power here also. That is why it is known as gold standard test. Next we have nucleic acid amplification test. So in this nucleic acid we are checking the DNA and RNA of a bacteria. So in DNA and RNA is checked here. So we have two kind of nucleic acid amplification test. First we have CABNAT. Okay, so it's a test that is known as, example we have CABNAT. CABNAT means cartridge based nucleic acid amplification test. So this test is done through PCR reaction, that is polymerase chain reaction, and in commercial name this CABNAT is known as Gene Expert or MTB Rifampicin, because we are also checking the resistance power of rifampicin here. That is why in commercial term or in a common name this CABNAT is also known as Gene Expert MTB or rifampicin. Okay, so basically we are doing polymerase chain reaction and we are checking the DNA and RNA of the bacteria. This nucleic acid amplification test is done through sputum of the patient. Okay, so it is done through the sputum. Next we have IGRA. IGRA means interferon gamma release assay. So there are two kinds of interferon gamma release assay. First we have quantiferon TB gold plus test and next we have T-spot TB. So in this IGRA test we are checking the immune reaction. Okay, so here we are taking a test tube and we are collecting the blood sample from the patient and we are taking the antigen of the bacteria and we put antigen and the blood of the patient in a test tube. Okay, if the patient has suffered from TB bacteria, then the patient immune cell, that is known as T cell, will release interferon gamma. Okay, if his T cell is releasing interferon gamma, okay, it means the patient is suffering from TB. So these were the diagnostic procedures.